So YouTube, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. So today guys, we are going to showcase the Kashtira deck, and yeah, we got all the supports for the Kashtira archetype. Sadly, our Diablosis has been banned, so that's not really a problem. Kashtira is still a strong tier 1 deck. So the build that I'm showcasing to you now is quite different from the one I used earlier. So we were using 3 copies of Lava Golem with the Gamma archetype, with also the Meteor or the Red Ice Meteor Dragon. The whole core cards for the Kashtiras are basically the same. Yeah. But after a while, as I grinded up the ranks, I wanted to be more consistent with my plays. So having Pathfinder is a really good card and a really good synergy to bring out your copy of the field spell. Removing the Lava Golems and just adding a copy of Triple Tactics Talent with a copy of Trust is quite necessary. And then removing the Gammas as well with the Meteor Dragon and just including the Korikara with the 2 Pathfinders is the only synergy that we can do. Other things that I add for the deck is a copy of Ogre with a copy of Preparations. So the reason why I got a copy of Preparations is if ever your opponent activates a trap card, like targeting my Arise Heart or my Shangri-Ira, then you can just check your opponent's hand and banish 1 card from there. The effect of Ogre also can excavate your opponent's deck and then remove 1 significant card for their deck. Extra deck wise, we are running with 1 copy of Fossil Warrior. You can also run Garura and Fossil Wagon for this build. Fossil Warrior allows you to pop 1 card. Once this card is in the graveyard, you can just banish it, retrieve it by the effect of Arise Heart, and if Arise Heart is sent to the graveyard or banished, typically Fossil Warrior will be sent to the graveyard and use its effect once more. And then you retrieve it back with a copy of Arise Heart once you summon an Arise Heart to the field. 1 bar on the floor, 1 copy of Big Eye, 1 copy of Draco Sack, 1 Red Ice Player Metal Dragon, 1 Dark Arm, 3 copies of Shangri-Ira, and then 3 copies of Arise Heart. So this is 3 offs because if ever we're using a copy of Extravagance and you manage to hit like 2 monsters like a Shangri-Ira or Arise Heart, then typically you have 1 extra that you can use. 1 copy of Divine Arsenal AA Zeus. Now the Goliath is a really good card. If ever you can attach this one to your Arise Heart, then your Arise Heart will be protected from any card effects that destroys it. 1 copy of Donner, just to pop 1 card on the field. Once I got into Diamond 1, I just ran with a different deck, and yeah, I'm still testing out Gishki sprites at the moment, but yeah, the whole Kashtira for the grinding got me a lot of wins, and this is the one that I've been using up until Diamond 1. But I could have gone with Masters, but I just preferred testing some other decks. Anywho, that is the main deck, guys. I want to showcase to you guys some replays, and I hope you enjoy these replays. I'll see you guys in the outro. Alright guys, so here we are with the replays. To start, I have 6 replays for you guys. Typically, this was one of my first replays that I did, and this you might notice that I have a copy of Gamma. I removed the Gamma and added a copy of Pathfinder because Pathfinder was more consistent enough in getting me the field spell. The Gamma, on the other hand, was kind of bricky, so yeah, you cannot summon or spell summon any Kashtiras if you have a Gamma on the field. Typically you can go with an Omega, but yeah, it takes time. Anyway, so yeah, we got a Gamma, 1 copy of Ash Blossom, 1 Rise Heart, 1 Unicorn, and 1 Evenly Matched. We're going first, and we're going up against Kashtiras, but yeah, I'll talk about it a bit. Go for Unicorn in the field, get a copy of Theosis. Go for Theosis, and our opponent is going to maxi us. Luckily, we have an Ash Blossom here. Now, since he maxied us, we can check out his extra deck. And I was really expecting that it's already Kashtira, since a lot of people are using Kashtira yesterday. So there we go. Use the effect of Unicorn, get a copy or banish a copy of Arise Heart. Now, since we know that we are going up against Kashtira, I will have to search out a copy of Scarecrow Kashtira. Now, Scarecrow is the best card up against a Kashtira deck, since during his turn he can't activate his Kashtira monster on the field if I don't activate mine. So the only time that he can activate a Kashtira card is during my battle, thus the effect of Scarecrow Kashtira. So you'll see in a bit. So there we go, going for an Arise Heart on the field, and with that, our last summon to the field will be a copy of Scarecrow Kashtira. And this is very important for our board against a Kashtira deck. So there we go, get a copy of Big Bang. Now you might add Big Bang into the Arise Heart, which was the best choice, but for me, just going up against a Kashtira deck, Big Bang is quite necessary for setting a card in the field. So there we go. Going for Shangri-Ira, getting a copy of Unicorn to the field. Now he already has a field spell, so he'll activate it. Getting a copy of Fenrir. Now Fenrir can't activate its effect only by battle phase, so that is why he's trying to battle. Negated because of the Scarecrow Kashtira, and then we'll activate our own monster's effect. So there we go. So he just scooped because he noticed that he can't win out of it. So yeah. Alright, so game number 2, we have 1 Scarecrow Kashtira, 1 Extravagance, 1 Birth, 1 Theosis, and 1 Evenly Matched. So the Extravagance before, I was dealing with 2 copies of Extravagance, but it cut off a ton of my resources from the extra deck, so I just handled 1 copy. Nevertheless, I'm going to showcase to you guys why Scarecrow Kashtira is still a really good card, and also why Big Bang is really necessary to attach it to a Rise Art. So, first and foremost, our opponent is going first, going with the Fenrir in the field, and going with a Rise Art. So like I said earlier, Evenly Matched is a really good counter for Kashtiras as well. So as I was starting off with my previous build, I slowly got into my current build, which is with the Pathfinders and Kurikaras. But anyways, on our turn, he'll summon a copy of Fenrir. We'll use the effect of Extravagance, and luckily we got a copy of Imperm here. So we Imperm the Fenrir, and then we're free to move. So there we go. So go with the Scarecrow Kashtira, banish a copy of Big Bang, use the effect of Theosis, get a copy of Rise Heart, and with the with the Birth, we activated, getting a copy of Fenrir from the Rise Heart banish, and with the Fenrir, we get a copy of Unicorn. So easy as that. And with the Shangri-Ira in the field, there we go, and go for what you call this? A Rise Heart. So there we go. And normal summon the Unicorn, get a copy of Theosis. Now we go for battle, use the effect of Unicorn, banish his Zeus, since that's the only card that's going to be imported up against Kashtira decks. So with the Shangri-Ira, and getting a copy of the Big Bang, attaching to a Rise Art. So we'll see in a bit. So there we go, go for a Rise Art, detach. So we detach the Big Bang, and Big Bang will get a copy of 1 material from the Shangri-Ira that we can spell summon to the field during our battle phase. So insanely good during the battle phase as well. And just you can recycle it again and again. So there you go, attaching again a copy of Big Bang. So dealing an additional 2,400 from the material. So insanely good. And then for our main phase 2, we summon a second copy of Shangri-Ira. And that's basically it. Summoning a copy of Fenrir. Will destroy my back row, doesn't really matter. There we go. And as long as a Rise Art keeps getting materials, it's still good. So he should have gone with a copy of Shangri-Ira here and go into a copy of a Rise Art, but instead he just got a copy of Fenrir here. So there we go. He's gonna use the effect of Fenrir, and we'll just activate the copy of a Rise Art. We banish a copy of Big Bang and then detach 1, spell summon the Unicorn as effect, then use the effect again. So insanely good for the Big Bang, always attached to our Rise Art. Alright, so game number 3, we're going up against Gishki Sprites. Now Gishki Sprites, I haven't actually tackled it until I did the whole replays. So yeah, after that, yeah, I noticed there was some misplays on my part, but nevertheless, we actually made it through because of some problems with the Gishkis as well. And we'll talk about it in a bit. So we got 1 copy of Rise Art, 1 Kashtira, Scarecrow, 2 copies of Birth, and 1 Theosis. So not really the best of hand though, but yeah, we got the Kashtira and the Theosis really, really good. So go for Birth, spell summoning a copy of Scarecrow Kashtira, spell summoning a copy of Ogre, and Ogre will get us a copy of Preparations. Now Preparations is a really good card up against Labyrinth, since they control trap cards. But yeah, going for Shangri-Ira, banishing a copy of Unicorn, and with locking 1 zone. Now we use the effect of Birth, spell summon a copy of Unicorn, and then get a copy of Theosis for a follow-up next turn. So with the Rise Art, we evolve it into a Rise Art. There we go. And that's basically our board with 1 preparations on the field. So yeah, insanely good. And we got a copy of Fenrir here, I think, yeah? Or was it a copy of Scareclaw? Yeah, Fenrir, yeah. So Gishki is going to be summoned to the field, the Grimness. So take note of the effect of Grimness. So where was it? Also you can only declare attacks with ritual monsters until the end of this turn. So he needs to spell summon a lot of ritual monsters to the field so that he can actually defeat this deck. So there we go. And take note, this is sprites as well. So another archetype that deals with only links and exe monsters. So no rituals in sprites. That's one downside for the sprite deck. But yeah, I don't know the effects before, but after a while I noticed once I knew the deck, it was easy enough to actually counter. But yeah, there we go. I'm just gonna remove my copy of, or the second copy of, my copy of Arise Art, so that's a shame. He really wants to use the graveyard for this matter. But there we go. Preparations can be activated. It was negated by the copy of Carrot. Then summoning a copy of Blue to the field. So he's only limited to level 2 rank 2s and link 2 monsters. That of course he can't attack also using non-ritual monsters. So with that, still gonna be good. Swirl summoning a copy of Obimaru. He's trying to attack and go into Zeus, but he can't attack. So yeah, that's one downside for it as well. But yeah. Alright, this is the part where we have changed our gamma with a copy of Pathfinder, since Pathfinder is the most consistent one that got us a lot of win. So Pathfinder, our Unicorn, our Scarecrow, Kashtira, and 1 Theosis, so a really good hand there. So first and foremost, we go with a copy of Unicorn, get a copy of Birth. Now our opponent is going to reveal his hand, so we're dealing with Labyrinth deck. So luckily we got a copy of Preparations and a copy of Ogre for this matter. So there we go. Ogre will get us a copy of Preparations or any trap card that we want. But anyway, since he activated Monster effect, we'll use the effect of Unicorn, and then he will chain with a copy of Crusader, flipping my Unicorn face down. So there we go. Normal summoning the Pathfinder, getting a copy of our field spell, and with our field spell, we'll get a copy of our Fenrir. The Scarecrow monster will get or banish the copy of Fenrir from our hand, and then spell summon the Fenrir back to the field, getting a copy of Rise Art. So with the Rise Art in the field, and we exe summon into the Shangri-Ira, we can lock 1 zone out. So since we're dealing with Labyrinth here, the best solution here is to have 2 Shangri-Iras on the field. Now this another build for this is having a copy of Fenrir and a Scarecrow Kashtira on the field if ever he has a Fenrir monster for the Labyrinth. But for the sake of this video, I would go into 2 copies of Shangri-Ira so that we can lock the back rows immediately. So there we go. Theosis on the board, getting a copy of Ogre. And with a copy of Arise Art, we attach a 1 monster from his banished pile. We need a Big Bang in case he spams the board so that he will remove more than 1 monster from his side. So there we go. By the way, the Thrust can actually get us a copy of our normal trap cards if you don't know about it. So yeah, really insane for that card. Very, very broken. But there we go. Preparation is going to be activated in case he'll use the trap card, use the effect of one of the Shangri-Ira to get a copy of Unicorn. So in case he'll use the monster effect, we'll lock more zones during each turn. So insanely good for the deck. Alright guys, for our next game, we have a copy of Pathfinder, 1 Rise Art, 1 Triple Tactics, 1 Kashtira Birth, and 1 copy of Big Bang. And we're still going up against Kashtiras since people are still running Kashtiras for this rank. Anywho, so we go for Pathfinder, trying to get a copy of our field spell. But we go for Triple Tactics, checking his deck out. So we're dealing against Kashtira, so yeah, there we go. Go for Birth, and then go for our field spell after that. So field spell will be... So this is the part where I need to make a really good board since he'll evidently get a copy of 1 Kashtira that will benefit him. So might as well gonna get a copy of more Kashtira monsters on the board. So there we go. So our typical board here is going for a copy of Scareclaw and probably a copy of yeah, the Big Bang. That's really good. So there you go. So he's gonna change with the second copy of Maxi during his turn. Nevertheless, it's perfectly fine because we got a copy of Fenrir on the board. And the reason why Scareclaw and Fenrir is a really good combo or a really good match is during his turn, he needs to have our monsters activate a monster effect before he activates his own. So that is why. So Birth is going to banish the 3 cards in the graveyard, use the effect of Shanghai-Ira, lock 1 zone out. But this is actually a stun variant for the Kashtira, so yeah. Really interesting how people manage to use Kashtiras. But with the effect of Shanghai-Ira, we'll use the effect of the field spell to pop 1 card in the back row. You use the effect of his very own Big Bang, and that is one of the reasons why Big Bang is important against a Kashtira deck. It's typically an evenly matched. So there we go. He's gonna spell summon a copy of Scareclaw on his field, which is a really good counter as well. But luckily, our Ogre has a higher attack. There we go. Main phase 2, we set a copy of Preparations. And then use the effect of Shanghai-Ira to trigger the effect of our field spell, popping the second back row. Now, the reason why I did not pop the first summon limit, I did not know that the second summon limit was set. But yeah, this will actually work with him as well. So he can only summon 2 monsters at the same time. So yeah, it also locks him from doing anything foolish. So there you go. He's gonna go for battle. Use the effect of my Scareclaw Kashtira and negate. Use the effect of mine, and that's how I won the game. Easy enough. The Scareclaw is a really good counter for Kashtiras. So that is the replays. Let's go back to the outro. Alright, boys and girls, that was the replays, and that is the deck profile for you guys today. Hope you enjoy this kind of content. Like and subscribe for more contents like this, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.